Do you want to stay more focused on the right goals in your life, or even just figure out what the right goals are for you? Do you want clarity? Do you want better work-life balance? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to Success Through Failure.
Welcome to the Success Through Failure podcast, the show that reveals failure as your path to success. You'll listen to intriguing interviews with some of the most successful people on the planet and learn how their failures became a launchpad for success and how yours can too. Here's your host, former Division I All-American wrestler, former Division I head coach, speaker, and personal coach, Jim Harshaw.
Welcome to another episode of Success Through Failure. This is your host, Jim Harshaw, and here I am bringing you another solo episode. It's been a couple of weeks since I brought you a solo episode, and I'll be honest, I kind of missed you. I missed doing these. As you can tell, I've done more and more of these over the past, 3 months, I guess, 4 months, something like that. I've been trying to, my goal is to do them every other episode, but sometimes that just doesn't work out with timing and whatnot. So I just plug in an interview. I usually have a couple of interviews in the hopper waiting for you. And I've got some really good ones coming up here. And actually in the last couple of weeks, since I haven't reported to you in a solo episode, I've had 3 episodes. And actually the day I'm recording this is a Monday, the Monday before this one gets released. So the one with Jarek Robbins just went out this morning. So we'll see how that one gets received. But the prior 2 episodes before that had unbelievable responses. Those are 2 of my most downloaded episodes. Immediately went really, really popular. So the one was episode 157, where I shared my faith and sort of how I came to faith. I don't talk about it a whole lot on the podcast, but I certainly wanted to dedicate at least one episode to it. And episode 158, I had Cody Lundeen, who, if you ever watch Dual Survivor on the Discovery Channel, he's the barefoot guy who goes in shorts and bare feet everywhere. He's not on the show. I think the show's either, I don't know if it still airs with a different guy, but he's not on it any longer. He's a survival instructor and expert. Actually, one of my clients did his desert drifter course, took a course with him and did a week-long desert course where he said it was miserable, but you learn how to survive in the desert, and more importantly, you learn all kinds of amazing stuff about yourself, who you really are, and what you're really capable of. Anyway, that's how I got connected to Cody. But man, what an awesome episode. That guy was just legit, hardcore, real, genuine, authentic. Just made for a really fun conversation. And Cody and I actually talked a good bit after the episode was over. After we stopped the recording, he and I chatted for a good bit. Just an awesome dude. So I encourage you to check that one out, episode 158. And so what else has been up since? So give you a quick update on the puppy. Got a puppy a few months ago, 2 months ago, I guess it was, because he's a little over 4 months old now. He's a Sprudel, English Springer Spaniel mixed with a Poodle. Ridiculously sharp teeth. He loves to chase and bite. And I've got young children, and so it's not a great mix. Ideally, you wouldn't have a puppy chasing your children around, causing terror in the house. But that's what we have right now. And his name is Pax, P-A-X, which means peace. He's not brought a whole lot of that in the house, but actually he is. He's really, really awesome. I think he's starting to just show some signs of growing out of the sort of teething, crazy puppy phase. We found one of his teeth. I guess their teeth all fall out eventually, those little baby teeth. And we found one of them the other day. So that was a positive sign that maybe those sharp teeth will go away at some point soon. But Pax really is awesome. He's so much fun. He's a sweet little guy. And we've been going on a lot of great adventures as the summer wraps up. Not the kind of adventures that I used to go on back in the day. Actually, my wife and I met leading adventure camping tours for a company called Trek America. So those are some of the good old days of grand adventures when Allie and I were traveling all across the country. Actually, we never had an American on any of our trips. It was all foreigners from all around the world. It's really an awesome job. And then before that, I took a 3-month backpacking trip by myself through Central America. So those were the good old days of ridiculous adventures. But nonetheless, these adventures are just sort of day trips and kayaking trips and whatnot, which are actually probably a whole lot more fulfilling with the family. So with Allie and the kids. But anyway, lots of adventures. School starts here. Well, by the time you listen to this, school will have started. Kids will have 3 days under their belt of school. So summer is over, and we're about to begin the craziness that is school. And actually, one of my clients, I think this is an interesting thing to share with you, in the Reveal Your Path Pro group. So this is anybody who's ever gone through a Reveal Your Path. They have the option of joining a Reveal Your Path Pro group. This is kind of an inner circle group. We have mastermind calls once a month. We have one-on-one calls with me once a month. But anyway, he brought up in the mastermind call a few months back at the beginning of summer, he said, one of the things I did with my family was to sit down and say, what do we want on September 1st? Summer's over. What do we want to say? If we say that we had an awesome summer, what would we have said we did over the summer? And anyway, so I thought that was a pretty awesome question, and we all kind of discussed that on that call. So anyway, let's move on. So this episode, 9 ways to help friends and family create a success mindset. I talk to so many people, clients, prospective clients, people out in the world who just kind of run into, and they all, so many people want others to change, right? And they say, man, I wish my husband or wife or sister or brother or friend would just, buy into this or read this book or listen to podcasts like I do, et cetera, et cetera. Always, trying to get someone else to sort of adopt that positive attitude, that positive mindset, that optimism, that success mindset, that growth mindset, that idea that, failure is the path to success. And, certainly the best way to do that is to change yourself, right? We learned that in How to Win Friends and Influence People, which I actually want to reference towards the end of this episode. But we all have somebody in our lives who we want them to adopt this mindset that we have. And it's just so interesting. I talk to so many prospective clients who don't sign up for Reveal Your Path because they say, my wife isn't really into this. She doesn't want me to spend the money. And they struggle with that sort of difference in mindset. And so I wanted to address that so how do you get somebody to adopt a mindset that you want them to adopt, right? And this is just sort of, maybe a little bit potentially ego driven, right? By us, we have to at least take that stance that maybe they need, we need to adopt their mindset, possibly. So at least be open to that consideration. If we want them to be open to our consideration, we should at least have that ability to have that open mind. But I've identified some ways that have truly worked for my clients, people that I work with more closely one-on-one, things that I've worked into my life that have definitely helped. And really have led to radical transformations in relationships in my life and in relationships in my what I call them pathfinders, in my pathfinders' lives and pathfinders. It's folks who've been through Reveal Your Path. We call ourselves pathfinders. We actually have a credo. Actually, let me read you my credo, our credo, because this is something that we're pretty proud of. All right, here it is. Pathfinder credo. I am a pathfinder. A seeker, a dreamer, a competitor. I get things done. People say I'm crazy, I'm hard-headed, that I'm wired just a little bit differently. But you can't deny me. I raise the bar, I set a new standard, I create a path where there once was none. I live by my values and strive for my goals. I know what to say no to because I know what to say yes to. I'm a leader, and I reveal this path to those who follow. I am a pathfinder. So that's kind of how we live, and that's the mindset that we approach. And sometimes we want others to come along with us. So here are some thoughts. Here are some practical, real, actual ways that will work for you to get others to adopt the mindset that you have and that mindset that you want others to have. And before I share these, let me ask you this. If you haven't yet shared this podcast with somebody else, please do. Just take a minute. That's how this thing grows. This thing has grown exponentially these past few episodes. It's really had tremendous growth, and it's because people are sharing it. So if you could, please just share this with one person. You can send them a a text and just say, hey, could you share, check out the Success Through Failure podcast, check out episode 160. You could send them just jimharshawjr.com/160. Or if you want to, any episode, that's how you can grab them is slash and then the episode number. So 157 was my one on faith. 158 was with Cody Lundeen, etc. But you can share, or you can go to jimharshawjr.com/share. And there's 3 links there. You can, 3 buttons, just one for sharing on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Twitter. It's all pre-written. If you want to edit it before you post it to one of those websites and one of those social media outlets, you can, or you can just share whatever's there. Or you can rate it, give me a rating and review. So those things certainly help other people find me as well. And as usual, with this episode, you can grab the action plan. Just go to jimharshawjr.com/action. That's enough for the calls to action. And let's dive into it. So here we go. Number 1, how do you get people to create a success mindset, to adopt a success and growth mindset? Number 1, you have to remember this. They have to want it. You can't make them. You can't change them. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. So remember that. This is the first one I want you to remember going into this. I'm going to give you tactics that work. But in the end, you've got to get them. They have to want it. And that's really our desires. How do we get them to want it? But they have to, at some level, want to change and want to grow. So that's number 1. Number 2, model it. Live it. Be it. Model it. So I was driving to soccer practice with my son recently, with Jesse, and I decided just to let him sort of see my morning routine, kind of how I go about my morning routine whenever I'm driving to work. And I listen to the Bible for part of my drive to work. I call the Success Hotline. And if you don't call the Success Hotline yet, you can call the Success Hotline at, here I got it listed in my favorites in my phone. Success Hotline is 973-743-4690. Again, 973-743-4690. I'll have that listed in the action plan as well, but that's one of the things I do. I call the Success Hotline. It's a 3-minute message, motivational message posted every day by Dr. Rob Gilbert, who I've had on the podcast before. And the guy's great. Rob Gilbert is absolutely incredible. He's been leaving messages for 10,000, 60 or 70 days in a row since 1992, every single day. Hasn't missed a day. But anyway, that's part of my morning routine. I listen to those. I just have these positive mindset things that I do. I'm listening to a great book called Success Principles right now by Jack Canfield. Listening to that, I had him listen to a little bit of that with me. I wasn't forcing this stuff down his throat, but I just want him to be aware of what Dad does when he's by himself, when he's driving down the road. And these are some of the things that I do. I listen to the Success Hotline, listen to the Bible. We've got some positive mindset audios that I've created for myself. I shared those with him so that he understands this is what Dad does, right? So I modeled it for him. All right, number 3, plant seeds. Plant seeds. Understand that even if the person you're thinking of or the people you're thinking of don't adopt your mindset, plant the seeds. I remember Allie, my wife, by the way, my wife is way smarter than me. Allie should be running these podcasts, not me. She's a licensed therapist and she's just really, really talented at what she does. But one of the things that she said that one of her supervisors told her years and years ago was, when she was kind of feeling a little bit disheartened. She was working with youth and saying, gosh, I'm not making a dent in these. I'm working with these kids week after week after week. And like, they come in here with the same problems and the same challenges and the same mindsets. And I can't get them to change. And I don't see any change happening in their lives. And she said this, her supervisor told her, he said, know that you're planting seeds that will sprout years from now. It may, she was working with like 10-year-old kids at the time. It's like, they may be 20 or 25 or 30 before these things really take root. And I think about that, if any of you, if you were an athlete, and you ever did any youth coaching, you started saying some of the exact same phrases and words that your coaches said to you a million times growing up. And when you were competing and you go, wait a second, that stuff actually does make sense. Those things did take root, and maybe they didn't sprout until too late, but at least those seeds were planted in you, and now those things are growing, right? So plant those seeds now. Plant those seeds so that they can grow, and they may grow a week from now, a year from now, or decades from now, but plant the seeds. Number 4, skin in the game. They've got to have skin in the game. With my program, Reveal Your Path, I never let anybody do it for free. I tried that in the beginning, and I actually had some people, I gave it to friends and family. I had some friends that I let do it. Like, they're zero results. But when people actually have skin in the game, they actually have to pay. They're invested in doing it. They actually follow through. There's a perceived value, and they want to get that value out of it. They lay some skin in the game. They put some money down. They want to get something out of it. So I've made the mistake before of of not having them pay a fee, and I know what kind of results that gets. So finding a way for them to understand that they have skin in the game, those folks that you're trying to change. And that might be money in a scenario where you're trying to get them to change, understand how, what they may lose if, that might, what they may lose if they don't invest, if they don't make a change, if they don't buy into a new mindset or listen to the podcast or read a book, etc. What do they have to lose? Maybe it's, I don't know, their health and wellness. Maybe it's time with their grandkids. Maybe it's custody or something of their child, or whatever it might be, right? Understanding that they have skin in the game. Number 5, listen. Just listen. I know everybody says this, listen, be a good listener, et cetera, et cetera. It's like, it's cliche to say this, but let people talk. Let them be heard. Let them vent. And I tell you, this is a weakness, I think, mostly of men in general. But, whenever Allie vents to me about something, I want to fix it, right? And that's not what a lot of people want, right? They don't want you to come in and try to fix their problems. It's almost like putting them down, right? So just let people talk, let people vent. A lot of times they come to their own conclusions, right? Be a good listener. Ask questions that allows them to vent more, which leads me into number 6, which is exactly that. It's ask questions. This is number 6. Ask questions rather than telling. Create conversation that helps people say and speak out loud and identify what they know they should be doing rather than you telling them. You can ask simple questions like, what do you think? Or what do you think is the best next best step? Or how have you done this in the past that's worked? Or who do you know that's doing this the right way? Don't tell. Nobody wants to be told. There's a great book by Jeffrey Gitomer, sales book. And in that book, this is actually one of his sort of, I think, trademarked taglines, but he says, nobody wants to be sold, but everybody loves to buy, right? Everybody hates to be sold. They hate to be sold something forced down their throat, but they love to buy, right? They love to discover something and learn about it and buy it on their own accord. So that's what you want to facilitate that by listening. You want to facilitate that by asking questions. And by the way, I'm going to share the most powerful, impactful one here at the very end, number 9. It's awesome. It's the one that will, if you forget every other one, if you remember this one, it will change your life. And it'll change potentially somebody else's life. All right, so number 7 is frame your conversation around what they want. Not what you want, but what they want. You might think about, if you're trying to get somebody to work out more, you might want to be fit because it makes you feel confident and energized, but somebody else might want to be fit. They don't care about being confident and energized. They might be more interested in, experiencing less pain in their joints, right? Because they're carrying extra weight or something like that. So discover what they want, what motivates them, what interests them, what intrigues them. Find those things out and frame your conversation around what they want. It's not about you. This is about them. Number 8, identify their objections before you have a conversation. So what are they going to object to? What are they going to throw back and say, I can't because I don't have enough time? If they say, I don't have enough time, you say, well, here's something that's worked for other people, right? Or don't say you should do this, or I don't should on somebody, but I identify ways that have maybe worked for other people. But I think about those objections. We don't have enough money. I can't buy a gym membership. We don't have the money in the bank. And you say, well, we can cover the cost of that gym membership if we just stop buying something, right? Think about, stop buying beer, right? Or whatever the case might be. You like to drink, craft beer, cut back to PBR, right? If that's going to help you cover the cost of a 24-hour fitness kind of place, right? So identify their objections and address those objections first. Okay, number 9, last but certainly not least, last but most certainly this is the most impactful, the most effective, and this is it. Remember this for the rest of your life. Nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. I didn't make that up. I wish I did. I'm not that smart. But nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. And every time that I work with clients through this, every time I've done this in my life, it changes conversations. It changes relationships. It changes everything. Do people really know how much you care? You might care. You might have it in you, might be in your heart, but if it's in your heart, it does you no good. You have to express it. You have to show it. You have to actually take action and do things. Give proof by your actions. Your actions obviously speak louder than words. We know that. What you do speaks so loudly that I can't hear what you say. So show people how much you care. And if you do that, they'll start listening to you. I remember one client, he was telling me, man, I would always send these awesome YouTube videos and articles and blog posts to my wife, and she would never read them. I'd come home from work and, she'd say she didn't watch them or read them. And I said, why don't we work on this? Why don't we work on showing her how much you care? And we identified different things you can do. And it's simple stuff like post a note on the mirror or sending a text in the middle of the day or doing something nice, right? A foot massage or buying a gift certificate to Starbucks or whatever. There's a million things you can come up with, right? Show them how much you care. Show them how much you care, and they might actually crack the door and start listening to you. And that's it. Those are the 9 ways. If you want those in the action plan, just go to jimharshawjr.com/action, and you can download the PDF short version of this episode. And again, I hope you share this with somebody. But before I wrap up, I want to talk about this book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And this is the ultimate guidebook for dealing with people, right? And I have this summary that I just did a Google How to Win Friends and Influence People summary, and it popped up. As a matter of fact, I'll include this link to this blog post that I'm reading right now on Farnham Street website. I have this in the action plan. But so techniques, let's see here. Just a few things from this book that speak exactly to what we're talking about here today, right? So don't criticize, condemn, or complain. Another one here is give honest and sincere appreciation. These are techniques in handling people. These are 3 bullet points. Don't criticize, condemn, or complain. Give honest and sincere appreciation, and arouse in the other person an eager want. More things here. 6 ways to make people like you. Be genuinely interested in other people. You want someone to change. Be genuinely interested in them, right? Another one here. Be a good listener. Encourage them to talk about themselves. Another one here is talk in terms of the other person's interests. Another one, make the other person feel important and do it sincerely. I mean, these are straight from the book, right? This information's out there. This is a great book. I recommend this book all the time. But anyway, lots of great tidbits that relate exactly to what we're talking about here in getting others to adopt the mindset that you want. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Again, go to jimharshawjr.com/action if you want to grab the PDF action plan from this episode. Oh, by the way, you get access to all of the action plans. You get a goal setting template. There's all kinds of good stuff there. And I hope you take action on that. And as always, take the time to get clear on your goals and embrace failure as a stepping stone on your path to success.